Good afternoon, everyone, and you're listening to Turtle Talk with Barb Three Crow.
Hello, everyone. It's October 19th, 2015, and yes, this is Turtle Talk Live. I'm Barbara Three Crow, and I'm speaking to you from Turtle Island, where the great river, the Mahikanituk, flows both ways. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you, Tracy, for getting me on here. I so much appreciate it. I'm going to continue to delve into the great mysterious, the strange, and the unexplained, because that's what we're looking at big time right now. And I hope that what I share with you will shed some light, or at the very least, awaken in you this urgent passion that I experience to find some answers. Maybe make some sense to this great puzzle we are all taking part in, and also to make time to reflect on where we are, who are we really, and why do we find ourselves in what appears to be a huge mess. Are there any solutions? I believe there are. Are we capable of realizing peace and harmony? Not only within ourselves, but with all creation. I do believe this is possible. But most importantly, are we determined to seek the truth of what has remained hidden and elusive, and that which is so significant to our survival? I am hoping that what I share with you on Turtle Talk today will uncover more of these truths and also assist us in finding our way into the unfolding new paradigm and the fifth age of enlightenment, which prophecy says we are entering. Supposed to be. Humanity is at this time experiencing an evolutionary process. We are emerging into a greater cosmic community. This is prophecy unfolding before our eyes and in our time here on Mother Earth. We have entered an entirely new learning curve, one that directs that humanity begin to take responsibility, specifically to gain ancient knowledge and to understand the critical formula and uses of frequency principles that our ancestors had once utilized for the higher good of all. Now, frequency principles are an ancient method brought to early civilizations from the Wikchopi-Oyate, the star relatives. At this point in time, in humanity's evolution, it is imperative that we also gain this essential knowledge and the ability to participate in the ancient art of manifesting balance and harmony throughout the divine matrix and the cosmic web. These guiding principles are an application of specific frequencies necessary to our transitioning, and that define the methods of aligning with the heart-spirit frequency within us. Now, these are guiding principles. They are an application of specific frequencies necessary to our transitioning, and that define the methods of aligning with the heart-spirit frequency within us. This will guide us how to direct with clarity and focus the precise intentions necessary to elevate and synchronize our energy bodies into alignment with the soul's purpose into the transition that is unfolding. It's unfolding with or without us. Therefore, it's crucial that we get our act together to understand about the frequency principles of body and mind and so on. So, these principles of body, mind, word, and emotions represent our rising above the deliberate onslaught of fear and prejudices, hatred, and jealousy that are working to keep us stuck in the lower frequencies of the fourth world of chaos. These principles are crucial to the level of our awakening, and this inner standing is parallel to our becoming enlightened and entering into the fifth world, the 1,000 years of peace, which is a Hopi prophecy, by the way, and not just the Hopi, but others. This new world is up to each of us to attain, individually and collectively. By merely choosing, we are activating a message to the universe. When we speak, the universe listens and responds accordingly. But that is only the first step. In order to actually shift into and align with the energy frequencies that are distinctly separate from the lower frequencies pulling us downward, we must attain the understanding of how the principles of frequency actually harmonize our experience. We must learn how to become, how to maintain the highest frequencies that are possible for humans to attain. The principles of and precise uses of higher frequencies are ever present, and they are part of Creator's law of one. They are unconditional love, which is the highest frequency attainable. This frequency, when achieved, immediately aligns us with its source, the source of Creator Mother Father's unconditional love for all creation. The second highest frequency is compassion, which immediately shifts our vibration into a steady, unconditional love for all creation. Other high-frequency principles are gratitude and joy and kindness in service to others. I think you get the picture. So it is crucial that we begin to work on attaining and aligning ourselves with these higher frequencies. It is a process of going into our heart and understanding the spirit within each of us, that this divine essence spirit has a source, which is the highest frequency of unconditional love, which is the frequency of the Creator Mother Father. It is the principle of attaining and becoming one. Because we are and were originally as one with the highest divine frequency, this is the source of our beginning, and from which we all originated. But we are now realizing that we have been deliberately made to believe that we are sinners, we are tainted, and that we must rely on others who claim authority, that they are the only way for us to attain a level of harmony or peace, of joy. This leads us into lower levels of frequencies, despair, fear, competition, and doubt, if we continue to rely upon those so-called authorities. We must prepare ourselves. We have to adapt ourselves to the blueprint of the superior intelligence, which is our original nature, in order to meet the present challenges. We must become more sensitive to our environment, to our earth family, become visionaries, compassionate and loving, and keep our frequencies clear and at their highest vibration. We must learn to use these frequency principles in order to align with the divine frequency that manifests harmony and peace, and to actively clear the karmic chain of debt that keeps us recycling in order to get it right. It is time to break the chains, to end the cycle of the continual re-emerging into the lower frequencies set in place by the elite and those who rule them. Now I will continue with the messages from the allies of humanity and the challenge of human freedom. As I read to you last week, it was described to us that humanity is an emerging race, that we have been manipulated to compete with each other, that many are now feeling a great change coming, that our strengths are also our weaknesses. That specific events are at this time occurring across the world. Some are man-manipulated, some are natural. All are purposeful. But before I begin to move into that reading, I'm going to... I feel this is really important to revisit. And you'll understand why if you have been listening recently to various podcasts and live shows about the so-called saviors coming, or the expectation that a savior is going to come. So I'm going to revisit this. This was given to us last week when the Allies of Humanity informed us who these forces are that are visiting our planet at present. They have advanced technology, and they are able to influence thought. They have a greater power of persuasion, and they are looking to gain allegiance for their plan, which is to use humans for their own benefit. Now, their intention, listen to this, their intention is employment. They believe they are saving humanity from itself, but their perspective does not serve our greater good, nor does it foster wisdom of self-determination within the human family. People who are aware of the visitors are not yet aware of their intentions, nor their methods. People think the visitors are saviors. They are using their power of persuasion to gain people's allegiance through spiritual motivations. They know that many people want to give themselves to anything they believe has a greater power to save them. The visitors can project holograms, images of saints and angels, for instance, that are that are held dear to humans. They are contacting individuals who are considered sensitives, receptive, and who will cooperate. They want to gain our trust and our devotion. Their pacification program is to put telepathic information, the state of affairs on Earth, into our minds, and then to offer the solution. Just come with us. We'll save you from the madness and from your dying planet. And this is crucial, that information right there. We will save you from the bad guys, from the madness, and from your dying planet. Specifically, they are targeting people who are sensitives, meaning they have a higher awareness, or perhaps they're those who channel, or those who are very spiritual. They abduct these people, and then they start feeding them the information that we are your saviors. We have all the answers. You just have to come with us. We'll make everything better for you. And then there's also going to be jobs for you. The word, there are going to be jobs for you. Everyone will have a job. Pay attention to that. That sounds good, though, doesn't it? Everyone will have a job. Pay attention to that. Big message behind that. So I just want to start out with revisiting that very essential information. And, I've always said that no one is going to come and save us. This is just my perspective, but it just feels right to me. Why do I say that? I feel like, why are we here? What are we learning? What are we gaining? What is the point? Now the ship is sinking, let's all jump off and, somebody come and save us. Well, let's all jump off. Abandon this great ship. this great mothership, the earth that we are on, this beautiful, beautiful mother. It just doesn't seem right to me. Plus, personally, I feel that I'm here to learn, to grow, to gain as much as I can while I am here as a human being, to learn how to be human. Yeah, to work on that compassion, to work on that forgiveness, to work on being a person, a human in service to others in a good way, caring. That's what I think we're all here to be doing. And many of us are. There are some that are dramatically, drastically lagging behind in that for sure. But it's just my perspective that no Messiah, no ship, no UFO, no ET is going to come. And if you don't have the ability to discern, I spoke about that last week, how important it is to understand discernment, feeling from your own heart spirit and the source, creator, mother, father as the source is where the answers are, and you have the right and the ability according to creator's law, to say to whomever is coming, even if they are appearing as an angel, because they can appear as an angel, is to stand your ground and say, if you are not from the light, if you are not from the highest, from the one creator, then you are not allowed. You are not allowed here in my presence. So, I suppose if you have a visitor like an angel with those beautiful wings and the glowing halo and all that, you might just fall down on your knees and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Take me wherever you want to. Be careful." Just saying. So, I'm going to continue here with the Allies of Humanity. And again, everything that I am sharing with you, I ask that you just take what feels right to your own heart spirit. Okay, I'm just sharing things with you that I find of great interest, and there are many things in here that I think are important. I don't agree with everything, and as we shouldn't agree with everything. We should question. This is the challenge to human freedom and the messages from the Allies of Humanity. Humanity is approaching a very dangerous and very important time in its collective development. You are on the verge of emerging into a greater cosmic community of intelligent life. You will be encountering other races of beings who are coming to your world seeking to protect their interests and to discover what opportunities may lie ahead. They are not angelic. They are not angels. They are not spiritual entities. They are beings who are coming to your world for resources, for alliances, and to gain an advantage in an emerging world. They are not evil. They are not holy. In that they are also much like you. They are simply driven by their needs, their associations, their beliefs, and their collective goals. Now, this is very great time for humanity, but humanity is not prepared. And I just want to remind you all, if you hadn't heard this, I spoke about this a while back, that years ago I remember an elder saying that the ETs came to him and said, "We are coming." And the elder said, "Don't come, we're not ready." And the ET responded and said simply, "Get ready." So, humanity is not prepared. From our vantage point, we can see this on a very large scale. We do not involve ourselves with the daily lives of individuals in this world. We do not attempt to persuade governments or to lay claim to certain parts of the world or to certain resources that exist there. Instead, we observe, and we wish to report what we observe, for this is our mission in being here. The unseen ones that's a capital O, and yes, have told us that there are many people today who feel a strange discomfort and a sense of vague urgency, a feeling that something is going to happen and that something must be done. Perhaps there is nothing within their daily sphere of experience that justifies these deeper feelings, that verifies the importance of these feelings, or that gives substance to their expression. But we can understand this because we have been through similar things ourselves in our own histories. We represent several races joined together in our small alliance to support the emergence of knowledge and wisdom in the universe, particularly with races that are on the threshold of emerging into the greater cosmic community. These emerging races are particularly vulnerable to foreign influence and manipulation. They are particularly vulnerable to misunderstanding their situation, and this is understandable. For how could they comprehend the meaning and the complexity of life with the greater cosmic community? That is why we wish to play our small part in preparing and educating humanity. In our first discourse, which I read last week, we gave a broad description of the visitor's involvement in 4 areas. The first area is the influence on important people in positions of power in governments and at the head of religious institutions. The second area of influence is on people who have a spiritual inclination and who wish to open themselves to the greater powers that exist in the universe. The third area of involvement is the visitor's building of establishments in the world in strategic locations, near population centers, for instance, where their influence on the mental environment can be exercised. And lastly, we spoke of their program of interbreeding with humanity, a program which has been underway for quite some time. We understand how troubling this news may be, and perhaps how disappointing it may be to many people who had high hopes and expectations that visitors from beyond would bring blessings and great benefit to humanity. It is natural, perhaps, to assume and to expect these things, but the greater cosmic community in which humanity is emerging is a difficult and competitive environment, particularly in areas in the universe where many different races compete with each other and interact for trade and commerce. Your world exists in such an area. Now, this may seem incredible to you, because it has always seemed that you lived in isolation, alone within the vast emptiness of space. But really, you live in an inhabited part of the universe where trade and commerce have been established and where traditions, interactions, and associations are all long-standing. And to your benefit, you live in a beautiful world. A world of great biological diversity, a splendid place in contrast to the starkness of so many other worlds. However, this also gives your situation great urgency and poses a genuine risk. For you possess what many others want for themselves. They do not seek to destroy you, but to gain your allegiance and your alliance, so that your existence in the world and your activities here can be for their benefit. You are emerging into a mature and complicated set of circumstances. Here you cannot be like little children and believe and hope for the blessings of all whom you may encounter. You must become wise and discerning, as we, through our difficult histories, have had to become wise and discerning. Now humanity will have to learn about the ways of the greater cosmic community. about the intricacies of interaction between races, about the complexities of trade, and about the subtle manipulations of associations and alliances that are established between worlds. It is difficult but important time for humanity, a time of great promise, if true preparation can be undertaken. Reading this about, humanity have to learn about the ways of the intricacies of interaction between races. How are we doing here with that one on Earth? Good question, eh? Because now it looks like, if you really reading about where, the plan of inhabiting Mars and going out there into space, and that seems to be the big focus right now. And also, opening up portals, as Tracy just informed me, the CERN, all excited there about CERN opening up this portal. Yeah, wahoo. It's like, I'm not excited about that. What on earth will they unleash? So, with this, our second discourse, we would like to speak in greater detail about the intervention into human affairs by various groups of visitors, what this may mean for you, and what this will require. We come not to incite fear, but to provoke a sense of responsibility, to engender a greater awareness, and to encourage preparation for the life that you are entering into, a greater life, but a life with greater problems and challenges as well. We have been sent here through the spiritual power and presence of the unseen ones. Perhaps you will think of them in a friendly way as angels, but in the greater cosmic community, their role is greater, and their involvement and their alliances are deep and penetrating. Their spiritual power is here to bless sentient beings in all the worlds and in all places, and to promote the development of the deeper knowledge and wisdom that will make possible the peaceful emergence of relations, both between worlds and also within worlds. We are here on their behalf. They have asked us to come, and they have given us much of the information that we have, information that we could not collect ourselves. From them we have learned a great deal about your nature. We have learned a great deal about your abilities, your strengths, your weaknesses, and also your great vulnerability. We can comprehend these things because the worlds that we have come from have passed through this great threshold of emergence into the greater cosmic community as well. And we have learned much. We have suffered much from our own mistakes, mistakes that we hope humanity will avoid. We come then not only with our own experience, but with a deeper awareness and a deeper sense of purpose that has been given to us by the unseen ones. We observe your world from a location nearby, and we monitor the communications of those who are visiting you. We know who they are, we know where they come from, and why they are here. We do not compete with them, for we are not here to exploit the world. We consider ourselves to be allies of humanity. And we hope in time that you will consider us to be such for such as we are. And though we cannot prove this, we hope to demonstrate this through our words and through the wisdom of our counsel. We are hoping to prepare you for what lies ahead. We come in our mission with a sense of urgency, for humanity is way behind in its preparations for the greater cosmic community. Many earlier attempts, decades ago, to make contact with human beings and to prepare humans for their future proved to be unsuccessful. Only a few people could be reached, and as we have been told, Many of these contexts were misconstrued and were used by others for different purposes. And as a reminder, I read a while back about the blue ETs called the ones of the feather did come to our government and offer guidance and help and assistance if only the weapons of war were put down. Perhaps this is what they're talking about. Of course, that was not agreed upon. We have been sent in the place of those who came before to offer help to humanity. We work together.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that. We had a power outage on my street, so Barb is right back with you. Go ahead, Barb.
Hi, everybody. Well, that was quite interesting, right? All kinds of theories. We went crazy with that one. As we will tend to do. Okay, we work together in our united cause. And listen to these words. We do not represent a great military power, but more a secret and holy alliance. We do not want to see the kind of affairs that exist in the greater cosmic community perpetrated here within your world. I know I've read this before, but I'm just going to repeat this short paragraph here. These are real risks. Because of this, we encourage you to consider our words deeply, without fear, if that is possible, and with the kind of conviction and determination that we know resides in all human hearts. Today and tomorrow and the day after, great activity is underway, and will be underway to establish a network of influence over the human race by those who are visiting the world for their own purposes. They feel that they are coming here to save the world from humanity. And haven't we been being told that we humans are the cause for all the bad things that are happening? So they're putting that in our mind. They're coming to save the world from humanity because we are bad. Well, we've sure helped the situation, but there are larger factions here that are at work. And yes, we do have to get our stuff together. We do have to change our ways. This is crucial. Some even believe they are here to save humanity from itself. They feel that they are in the right and do not consider that their actions are inappropriate or unethical. Now, according to their ethics, they are doing what is considered to be reasonable and important. However, for all freedom-loving beings, such an approach can never be justified. Keep that in mind. We observe the visitors' activities, which are growing. Every year there are more of them here. They are coming from afar. They are bringing supplies. They are deepening their engagement and their involvement. They are establishing stations of communication in many places in your solar system. They are observing all of your initial forays into space, and they will counter and destroy anything that they feel will interfere with their activities. They are seeking to establish control not only of your world, but of the area around your world. Now, this is because there are competing forces here. Each represents the alliance of several races. Now let us address the last of the 4 areas that we spoke of in our first discourse. This has to do with the visitors interbreeding with the human species. Let us give you a bit of history first. Many thousands of years ago, in your time, several races came to interbreed with humanity, to give humanity a greater intelligence and ability. This led to the rather sudden emergence of what we understand is called modern man. This has given you dominance and power in your world. This occurred a long time ago. However, the interbreeding program that is occurring now is not the same at all. It is being undertaken by a different set of beings and by different alliances. Through interbreeding, they are seeking to establish a human being who will be part of their association, yet who can survive within your world, and who can have a natural affinity with the world. Your visitors cannot live on the surface of your world. They must either seek shelter underground, which they are doing, or they must live aboard their own crafts, which they often keep hidden in large bodies of water. They want to interbreed with humanity to protect their interests here, which are primarily the resources of your world. They want to have human allegiance assured, and so for several generations they have been involved in an interbreeding program, which within the last 20 years has become quite extensive. Their purpose is twofold. First, as we have mentioned, the visitors want to create a human-like being who can live within your world, but who will be bonded to them, and who will have a greater set of sensitivities and abilities. The second purpose of this program is to influence all those that they encounter and to encourage people to assist them in their undertaking. The visitors want and need human assistance. This furthers their program in all respects. They consider you valuable. However, they do not consider you to be their peers or their equals. Useful, that is how you are perceived. So in all whom they will encounter, in all whom they will take, the visitors will seek to engender this sense of their superiority, their value, and the worth, and the significance of their endeavors in the world. The visitors will tell all whom they contact that they are here for the good, and they will assure those that they have captured that they need not fear. And with those who seem particularly receptive, they will attempt to establish alliances. In other words, a shared sense of purpose, even a shared sense of identity and family, of heritage, and of destiny. In their program, the visitors have studied human physiology and psychology very extensively, and they will take advantage of what people want, particularly those things that people want but have not been able to gain for themselves, such as peace and order, beauty and tranquility. These will be offered, and some people will believe. Others will simply be used as is needed. Here it is necessary to understand that the visitors believe that this is entirely appropriate in order to preserve the world. They feel that they are doing humanity a great service, and so they are wholehearted in their persuasions. Unfortunately, this demonstrates a great truth about the greater cosmic community, that true wisdom and true knowledge are as rare in the universe as they must seem within your own world. It is natural for you to hope and to expect that other races have outgrown deviousness, selfish pursuits, competition, and conflict. But alas, this is not the case. Greater technology does not raise the mental and spiritual strengths of individuals. Today there are many people who are being taken against their will repeatedly, because humanity is very superstitious and seeks to deny things that it cannot understand. This unfortunate activity is being carried on with considerable success. Even now, there are hybrid individuals, part human, part alien, walking in your world. There are not many of them, but their numbers will grow in the future. Perhaps you will meet one someday. They will look the same as you, but be different. You will think they are human, but something essential will seem to be missing in them. Something that is valued within your world. It is possible to be able to discern and to identify these individuals, but in order to do so, you would have to become skilled in the mental environment and learn what knowledge and wisdom mean in the greater cosmic community. Now, what they mean about mental environment is really your sensory perception or your innate nature of intuitiveness, that gut feeling. They say mental environment. I don't call it mental environment because it's got nothing to do with intellectualizing what you are seeing or intellectualizing a person's behavior or intellectualizing about an environment that somehow doesn't feel right. You don't get the right answer, the truth, through intellectualizing it or trying to figure it out. This is about sensory perception, the gift that every one of us has been given. That is why it is so important that we learn and advance this amazing gift given to us. It's going to your own heart spirit, not into your mind. It's shutting off that monkey mind. Because the monkey mind, the ego, plays tricks on us. You could see some person who appears visually to be a very sweet person. Oh, look at that nice person or beautiful person. You're seeing them and the way they are appearing. Or an essence, an entity. Oh, there's an angel. How wonderful. An angel. Okay, you're in your mind because your eyes, your visuals showing you how that entity is appearing. Now, if you go into your heart spirit, even if you have to close your eyes so the visual doesn't interrupt your ability to discern, to get the signal of truth, an alert, an alarm, or a sense of calmness, a sense of, hey, everything is okay. That nice even flow of energy. All right, you can't get that with your mind. It just plays tricks on you. So learning this is of the utmost importance, for we see all that is happening in your world from our vantage point, and the unseen ones counsel us regarding things we cannot see or have access to. We understand these events, for they have happened countless times in the greater cosmic community, as influence and persuasion are cast upon races that are either too weak or too vulnerable to respond effectively. We hope and we trust that none of you who may hear this message will think that these intrusions into human life are beneficial. Those who are being affected will be influenced to think that these encounters are beneficial, both for themselves and for the world. And I'm going to repeat this because this is very vital that we understand this. Those who are being affected or contacted will be influenced to think that these encounters are beneficial, both for themselves and for the world. People's spiritual aspirations and their desire for peace and harmony, family and inclusion will all be addressed by these visitors. These things that represent something so special about the human family are, without wisdom and preparation, a sign of your great vulnerability. In other words, because we have this desire for peace and for harmony, because we know how important family is. This is exactly what represents to them our vulnerability. Only those individuals who are strong with knowledge and wisdom could see the deception behind these persuasions of the visitors. Only they are in position to see the deception that is being perpetrated upon the human family, and only they can protect their minds against the influence that is being cast in the mental environment in so many places in this world today. Only they will see and know. Well, when you have a weird thought, a bizarre thought run through your mind, this is one of those mental environment influences that they're talking about. And this, I think I spoke about this quite a while ago because it seemed to be really ramping up a lot with people around me and even myself. We started talking about this specifically because it was so prevalent, about these strange, sudden, intrusive thoughts popping into your mind. And I want to say that these thoughts are bizarre, odd, creepy even. Something not of your own nature. It's just not your nature. And we started talking about that, and I felt that that was a definite intrusion of some mind control thing going on. And now here they are speaking about this very thing here. Now, what is important to know is that words will not be enough. Men and women must learn to see and also to know. We can only encourage this. Our coming here to your world has occurred in accordance with the presentation of the teachings in the greater cosmic community of spirituality. For the preparation is here now, and that is why we can be a source of encouragement. Now, this preparation is here now, meaning prophecy tells us that we are in the age of enlightenment. We are in the process of the age of enlightenment. So we're talking about enlightenment here, about developing enlightened knowledge processes, ancient processes here. Okay? For the preparation is here now, and that is why we can be a source of encouragement. In fact, the Creator and the unseen ones want to prepare humanity for the greater cosmic community. In fact, this is the most important need of humanity at this time. Okay? The Creator wants to prepare humanity for the greater cosmic community. This is the most important need of humanity at this time. Before I continue and move deeper and deeper into this very important information and guidelines, I'm going to take a short break, and we'll continue. Get your tea and coffee and do whatever you have to do. Thank you for sticking with me, and I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Turtle Talk with Barb Three Crow. Take it away, Barb.
Thank you. Yes, welcome back. I'm so glad you stuck in there with me, hanging in here. Just to do a replay here of this last sentence, speaking about that the Creator and the unseen ones want to prepare humanity for the greater community, the cosmic community. You know, it may not be in my time. I don't know. Maybe it will. I'm 73. I don't know, but I think in the future that's where humanity is heading, out there. I hope it's with a consciousness, with an awareness and an awakeness, because not only by what we're understanding here about that there are others out there, and who are they, what are their intentions, but I guess with not running off the planet with your pants on fire because all hell is broken loose here, although things are ramping up for sure, and I think it's intentional. There is that agenda, and it's a a small amount, a small group of the elite that are pulling all the puppet strings. And this is our home, This is our families, generations and generations. And it is a most beautiful, beautiful place, sacred place. I guess what I'm saying is I've heard that a lot of young people are very disillusioned. And why I'm saying young people, because they're the coming generations, and they're saying, well, everything's going to hell here, but we can go off planet. There's going to be another place where we can go. I hope that is not the mindset of a greater population, because that should not come to that. I hope that it does not come to that. Somehow that just doesn't seem right. This is a jewel. The Mother Earth is a jewel in the great cosmic web. Very significant one, too. So this is the most important need for humanity at this time, is to develop, to be prepared spiritually. It is the spiritual connectedness that we're talking about here. So they are encouraging us not to believe that the taking of human beings or their children and their families has any benefit for humanity at all. We must emphasize this. Your freedom is precious. Your individual freedom and your freedom as a race are precious. Your freedom as one big family on the Mother. It has taken us so long to regain our freedom. These beings are saying, we do not want to see you lose yours. The interbreeding program that is occurring in the world will continue. The only way that it can be stopped is by people gaining this greater awareness and sense of inner authority. And to me, the inner authority is your spiritual power. Spiritual power, the spirit within you. Which to me, the way I view this, that this is a source, that spirit that is embodied within us. Oh, you could say soul spirit, or the soul within us. To me, the soul is a divine essence, a frequency. It's one of the highest frequencies. And that, of course, there's a source for that divine frequency, which I always say is the Creator, Mother, Father. Okay, so your inner authority and your greater awareness. Only this will bring these intrusions to an end. Only this will uncover the deception behind them. It is hard for us to imagine how awful this must be for your people, for those men and women, for the little ones who are undergoing this treatment, this re-education, this pacification. To our values this seems abhorrent, and yet we know that these things occur in the greater cosmic community, and have occurred since before memory. Perhaps our words will generate more and more questions. This is healthy, and this is natural, but we cannot answer all of the questions. You must find the answers to gain the answers within yourself. But you cannot do this without preparation. You cannot do this without orientation. And at this time, humanity as a whole, we understand, cannot differentiate between a greater cosmic community demonstration and a spiritual manifestation. This is truly a difficult situation because your visitors can project images. They can speak to people through the mental environment, and their voices can be received and expressed through people. They can cast this kind of influence because humanity does not yet have this kind of skill or discernment. And humanity is not united. It is broken apart. It is in contention with itself. This makes you extremely vulnerable to outside interference and manipulation. It is understood by your visitors that your spiritual desires and inclinations make you particularly vulnerable and particularly good subjects for their use. How difficult it is to gain true objectivity regarding these things. Even where we have come from, it has been a great challenge. But for those who wish to remain free and to exercise self-determination in the greater cosmic community, they must develop these skills, and they must preserve their own resources in order to avoid being required to seek them from others. If your world loses its self-sufficiency, it will lose much of its freedom. You must go beyond your world to seek the resources you need to live, and then you will lose much of your power to others, because the resources of your world are rapidly diminishing. This is a grave concern for those of us who watch from afar. It is also of concern to your visitors, for they want to prevent the destruction of your environment, not for you, but for them. The interbreeding program has only one purpose, and that is to enable the visitors to establish a presence and a commanding influence within the world. Do not think that the visitors are lacking something that they need from you other than your resources. Do not think that they need your humanity. They only want your humanity to assure themselves of their position in the world. Do not be flattered, and do not indulge yourself in such thoughts. If you can learn to see the situation clearly as it really is, you will see and you will know these things for yourself. And you will understand why we are here and why humanity needs allies in the greater cosmic community of intelligent life. And you will see the importance of learning greater knowledge and wisdom, and of learning greater community spirituality. Because you are emerging into an environment where these things become vital for success, for freedom, for happiness, and for strength, you will need greater knowledge and wisdom in order to establish yourselves as an independent race in the greater cosmic system. However, your independence is being lost with each passing day, and you may not see the loss of your freedom, though perhaps you may feel it in some way. How could you see it? You cannot go outside your world and witness the events that surround it. You do not have access to the political and commercial involvements of these forces operating in your world today. Never think that any race in the universe that travels for commerce is spiritually advanced. Those who seek commerce seek advantage. Those who travel from world to world, those who are resource explorers, those who seek to plant their own flags are not what you would consider to be spiritually advanced. We do not consider them to be spiritually advanced. There is worldly power, and there is spiritual power. You can understand the difference between these things. And now it is necessary to see this difference within a larger environment. We come then with a sense of commitment and strong encouragement for you to maintain your freedom, to become strong and discerning, and not to give into persuasions of promise, of peace, of power and inclusion from those that you do not know. Again, repeating this because this is so crucial, because some people are believing that there are ETs here who have contacted them who are promising peace, promising inclusion, and a job. Do not let yourself be comforted into thinking that all will turn out well for humanity or even for you personally, for this is not wisdom. For the wise, in any place, must learn to see the reality of life around them and learn to negotiate this life in a beneficial way. Therefore, receive our encouragement. We shall speak concerning these matters and illustrate the importance of gaining discernment and discretion. And we shall speak more about the involvement of your visitors in the world in areas that are very important for you to understand. We hope that you will receive our words and be open and not be in fear. I'm going to move a little forward here on the next briefing here. But I do want to say that, again, the piece that really has always been so important to me is the power of spirit, or the power of our spirituality, which, of course, is a foundation. It's a strong foundation. Without your faith, without having faith, and I always say it doesn't matter to me whether it's Yahweh or God or Wankantanka or the Great Sacred Mother. It does not matter. What it does, what it gives you, is a power, a foundation to rely upon. It's called faith. In the most horrific circumstances that people throughout time have been subjected to, those whose stories of their survival that we read about or hear about always refer to their faith. It was my faith. If I didn't have my faith, I would not have survived. Now, it's not important what faith it is. You know my feelings about organized religion, but still, those who are organized in their religion have a faith. Yes, they do. And when you are in a circumstance, in a dire situation, calling upon that, I guess, to me, faith, the faith in a greater essence or a creator that is, I look at the Mother Earth as so beautiful and mysterious, but also the miracle of creation. Everything about creation consists of its miracles, a myriad of miracles. And to me, that's not random. Okay? I look at that as, I call it a dream vision of some omniscient something or someone. Some omniscience that had a dream vision of creating something beautiful, a miracle, harmonized and balanced, as everything on the Mother is harmonized and balanced originally. You know, you have the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine in all before humanity came. And then, of course, that was part of it as well. Humans consist of sacredness, sacred feminine, sacred masculine. But everything is in connectedness. Everything is so connected. And the way that it functions with that synchronicity, that connectedness, to me, that is a miracle. And it's an intelligence. So I look at the earth that way, and I look at life that way. So when I think of a source for that, I look at all of us as humans, how the miracle of ourselves, and that we also were a dream vision of perfection, of beauty, and sacredness. So to me, that's plus I've had so many miracles happen in my own life, and which I'm very grateful for. But every day to me is a miracle. Waking up, I make at a point, it's part of my way, is to go outside immediately and look around and just thank the day and thank my life for my life and the beauty all around me. So my connectedness is very essential, and those pieces build my foundation. Not to say that I don't have challenges, not to say that things don't come hard, difficult. But when you have a foundation, when you have that source, it helps you pick yourself up. It helps you steady yourself. We need that. It gives you that peace that is so essential. So now I'm going to continue here. The situation they're speaking about here is very grave from their perspective, and we think it would be a tremendous misfortune if people were not informed correctly. And I agree, because even though this is difficult, when we share information, like Tracy Kennedy on Turtle Island News, and when we've shared on Awake, and we are talking often about very difficult, troubling circumstances. But we can no longer hide our heads in the sand. We just cannot. Well, we could, but it's not going to be very advantageous, because you're going to be a big surprise. So there are things that are being hidden from us, though, for sure. We know that. We've talked about that. No, there is so much deception in the world that we are living in, and many other worlds as well, that the truth, through apparent and obvious, goes unrecognized, and its signs and messages go unheeded and undetected. We therefore hope that our presence can help clarify the picture and help you and others to see what is truly there. We do not have these compromises in our perception, for we were sent to witness the very things that we are describing. Now, over time, you would be able to know these things on your own, but you do not have this kind of time. The time now is short. Humanity's preparation for the appearance of forces from the greater cosmic community is far behind schedule. Many important people have not responded, and the intrusion into the world has accelerated at a far greater pace than was originally thought to be possible. As we have indicated in our previous messages, the world is being infiltrated and the mental environment is being conditioned and prepared. The intention is not to eradicate human beings, but to employ them, to have them become workers for a greater collective. The institutions of the world are most certainly the natural environment are valued, and it is the preference of the visitors that these be preserved for their use. They cannot live here, and so they gain your allegiance, and they are employing many of the techniques that we have described earlier, and we will continue in our description to clarify these things. From the perspective of your visitors, as we have learned, the United States is considered the world leader. And so the greatest amount of emphasis will be placed there. But other major nations as well will be contacted, for they are recognized also to hold power, and power is understood by the visitors, for they follow the dictates of power without question and to a much greater degree than is even apparent in your own world. Attempts will be made to persuade the leaders of the strongest nations to become receptive to the presence of the visitors and to receive gifts and inducements for cooperation with the promise of mutual benefit, and even the promise of world dominion. There will be those in the corridors of power in the world who will respond to these inducements, for they will think that there is a greater opportunity here to take humanity beyond the specter of nuclear war into a new community upon the earth, a community which they will lead for their own purposes. Yet these leaders, they are deceived, for they will not be given the keys to this realm. They will simply be the arbiters in the transition of power. This you must understand. It is not so complex. From our perspective and our vantage point, it is obvious. We have seen this occur elsewhere. It is one of the ways that established organizations of races who have their own collectives recruit emerging worlds such as yours. They do believe firmly that their agenda is virtuous and for the betterment of your world, for humanity is not highly respected, and though you are virtuous in certain ways, your liabilities far outweigh your potential from their perspective. We do not hold this view, or we would not be in a position that we are in, and we would not be offering our services. Therefore, there is a great difficulty now in discernment, a great challenge. The challenge is for humanity to understand who its allies really are and to be able to distinguish them from its potential adversaries. There are no neutral parties in this matter. The world is far too valuable, its resources recognized as being unique and of considerable worth. There are no neutral parties who are involved in human affairs. The true nature of the alien intervention is to exert influence and control and eventually to establish dominion here. We are not the visitors, we are observers. Humanity has great promise and has cultivated a rich spiritual heritage, but it is without education regarding the greater cosmic community. Humanity is divided and contentious within itself. Thus, it makes it vulnerable to any manipulation and to intrusion from beyond your borders. Your peoples are preoccupied with the concerns of the day. But the reality of tomorrow is not even recognized. What profit could you possibly gain by ignoring the greater movement of the world and by assuming that the intervention that is occurring today is for your benefit? Surely there is not one amongst you who could say this if you saw the reality of the situation. It is a matter of perspective. We can see, and you cannot, for you have not the vantage point. You would have to be beyond your world, outside the sphere of your world's influence, to see what we are seeing. And yet, to see what we see, we must remain hidden, because if we are discovered, we would surely perish. For your visitors consider their mission here to be of the utmost value. They will not stop. So it is your own freedom that you must value and that you must defend. Every world, if it seeks to establish its own unity, freedom, and self-determination in the greater cosmic community, must establish this freedom and defend it if necessary. Why do your visitors want your world? It is so very obvious. It is not you they are interested in particularly. It is the biological resources of your world. It is the strategic position of the solar system. They will offer what you want, and they will speak what you want to hear. They will offer inducements, and they will use your religions and your religious ideals to foster confidence and trust that they, more than you, understand the needs of your world and will be able to serve these needs to bring about a greater equanimity here. Because humanity seems incapable of establishing unity and order, many people will open their minds and their hearts to those whom they believe will have the greater possibility. We spoke briefly of the interbreeding program, and some have heard of this phenomenon. We understand that there has been some discussion about this. An interbreeding program is an attempt to fuse humanity's adaptation to the physical world with the visitor's group mind and collective consciousness. Individual freedom is not valued by the visitors. They consider it reckless and irresponsible. They only understand their own collective consciousness, which they see as privileged and blessed, and yet they cannot access true spirituality, which is called knowledge in the universe. True spirituality, which is called knowledge. For knowledge is born of an individual's self-discovery and is brought into being through relationships of a higher caliber. Neither of these phenomena are present in the visitor's social makeup. They cannot think for themselves. Their will is not theirs alone. So naturally, they cannot respect the prospects for developing these two great phenomena within your world. And they are certainly in no position to foster such things. They only seek conformity and allegiance. And the spiritual teachings that they will foster in the world will only serve to make humans compliant, make them open, and make them unsuspecting in order to garner a trust that will never have been earned. Now, we have seen these things before in other places. We are not sure that we can give an example in your own world of what this could be like. But we have been told that there are commercial interests that span cultures in your world that wield tremendous power and yet are governed by only a few. This is perhaps a good analogy for what we are describing. However, what we are describing is so much more powerful, pervasive, and well established than anything you could offer in the world as a good example. It is true of intelligent life everywhere that fear can be a destructive force. Yet fear serves one and only one purpose, if it is perceived correctly, and that is to inform you of the presence of danger. We are concerned, and that is the nature of our fear. We understand what is at risk, that it is the nature of our concern. Your fear is born because you do not know what is occurring. So this is a destructive fear. It is a fear that cannot empower you or give you the perception that you need to comprehend what exactly is occurring within your world. If you can become informed, then fear is transformed into concern, and concern then is transformed into constructive action. The interbreeding program is becoming very successful, and already those are walking your earth who are born to the visitor's consciousness and collective endeavor. They cannot reside here for long periods, but within only a few years they will be able to dwell upon the surface of your world permanently. Such is the greater reality into which humanity is emerging, a universe filled with wonders and also horror, a universe of influence, a universe of competition, yet also a universe filled with grace, much like your own world, but infinitely greater. The heaven that you seek is not here. However, the forces that you must contend with are. This is the greatest threshold that your race will ever face. Each of us in our group has faced this in our own respective worlds. If you think of these things, perhaps you will see corollaries in your own world. The unseen ones have told us a great deal regarding your spiritual development and its great promise. But they have also counseled us that your spiritual predispositions and ideals are being greatly manipulated at this time. There are entire teachings being introduced into the world now that teach human acquiescence and the suspension of critical abilities and value only that which is pleasurable and comfortable. These teachings are given to disable people's ability to access knowledge within themselves until people reach a point where they feel they are completely dependent upon greater forces that they cannot even identify. Now at that point, they will follow whatever is given them to do, and even if they sense something is wrong, they will no longer have the power to resist. Perhaps it is believed that such an intervention cannot possibly take place, and that each person has proprietary rights over his or her own consciousness and mind. But these are only assumptions, yet we have been told that the wise in your world have learned to overcome these assumptions and have gained the strength to establish their own mental environment. We fear that our words may be too late and have too little impact, and that the one we chose to receive us has too little assistance and support to make this information available. Now, into this grave situation, the Creator of all life has sent a preparation. The Creator has sent a teaching of spiritual ability and discernment and power and accomplishment. We are students of such a teaching, as are many throughout the universe. This teaching is a form of divine intervention. It does not belong to any one world. It is not the property of any one race. It is not centered around any hero or heroine, any one individual. Such a preparation is now available, and it will be needed. From our perspective, it is the only thing currently that can give humanity an opportunity to become wise and discerning regarding your new life in the greater cosmic community. As has occurred in your world in your own history, the first to reach the new lands are the explorers and the conquerors. They do not come for altruistic reasons. They come seeking power, resources, and dominion. This is the nature of life. If humanity were well versed in greater cosmic community affairs, you would resist any visitation to your world unless a mutual agreement had been established previously. You would know enough not to allow your world to be so vulnerable. And I will add my own perspective here on this, okay? You would resist any visitation into your environment, your home, your presence, okay? Just saying. You would know enough not to allow yourself to become so vulnerable, no matter what is appearing to you. Because remember, they have the power and technology to manifest in front of your eyes whatever it is that you hold most dear. Here, there is a great challenge for the people of your world, and particularly for those who are in positions of power and responsibility, to recognize the difference between a spiritual presence and a visitation from the greater cosmic community of those that are not allies. Yet how can you have the framework to make this distinction? Who in your world is in the position to teach about the reality that we are looking for? Only a teaching from beyond the world can prepare you for life beyond the world. And life beyond the world is now in your world, seeking to establish itself, seeking to extend its influence, and to win the minds and hearts and souls of people everywhere. It is so simple, and yet so troubling. There must be a recognition amongst your people, at least amongst enough people. There must be an understanding of the reality that you are now facing. And this is the greatest event in human history. It is also the greatest threat to human freedom, and the greatest opportunity for human unity and cooperation. There are great advantages and possibilities. No more, as more and more people are captured and their awareness is recultivated and reconstituted, as more and more people learn of the spiritual teachings that are being promoted by the visitors, and as more and more people become more acquiescent and less able to discern. Speaking of more and more the promotion of the spiritual teachings, the promotion of certain spiritual teachings by the visitors that are inundating into the mind thoughts of those in authority, those in power, those leaders, so-called leaders here, is what they're talking about. Again, it's about who's standing between you and your Creator. There should be no one telling you or standing between you and your Creator. You have your own connectedness, your own right as one with that Creator, Mother, Father, to begin with. So there's no need to turn to someone and say, show me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to say, tell me how to pray. Let me show me the page in the book that will help me to contact, to become one with, to understand spirituality, to understand the spirit within me. So there should be no one in between ourselves and that truth. Beyond that, when we are complete, we will return to our own homes, and should we fail, and should the tide turn against humanity, and should the great darkness come over the world, the darkness of domination, then we will have to depart. Our mission would be unfulfilled. Should you become reliant upon trade with other races, this creates a very great risk of manipulation from beyond, for humanity is not yet strong enough to resist the power in the mental environment that can be extended here and is being exerted right now. So the visitors will try to create the impression that they are allies of humanity. So be very, very alert to this. Be very, very careful. They will say they are here to save humanity from itself. Have you heard these words recently? I have. Not personally. I've heard others who said they've heard these words, who were told, oh, the ETs are here to save humanity from itself, that only they can offer the great hope that humanity cannot provide for itself, that only they can establish true order and harmony in the world. But this order and this harmony will be theirs, not yours. And the freedom that they promise will not be yours to enjoy. So, I'm going to pop over here to final words. I'm looking for final words. I've added some of my own final words, and what I've just read is maybe pretty intense for those who have really not been doing any research or investigating or paying attention to what is really going on behind the scenes. Now, this information is about, let's say, off-planet entities. I have been reading here this past weeks about abductions, about unidentified sightings, personal experiences I've had, and even there are people who are in positions, and I suppose I'll use the word authority. Okay, so people in positions of authority, and by that I mean that people look up to them because these are educated people. Educated meaning they have degrees, and that puts them in a position of authority, and people more or less lean towards an openness toward what these people say. Now, the person I'm speaking about is John Mack, the Harvard professor that I read an interview with him last week. Just check on Dr. John Mack, and Passport to the Cosmos is his second book. His first book, I think, was Abduction. Dr. John Mack, Passport to the Cosmos. Excellent book. Now, he was a Harvard professor, psychotherapist, who started to really investigate the reports of abductions that his clients, or I guess you'd call them patients, over the years kept talking to him about, and he really became very curious. But I suppose this, again, I always say spirit works in strange ways, meaning that he became so curious because these phenomenon were too identical, too aligned so identically that he really became very curious. And the people that he was working with, he putting them through conversations and tests and so on and so forth, really observing them, he realized these people are not crazy people. These are not off the wall people. These are not that type of personality to be making this up. So anyway, he started to write books and do investigating research on abduction and this phenomenon. He went really deep into this, and he started connecting with native elders and others, and First Nations people throughout the world. Visitors from other realms is not an uncommon experience. Not uncommon at all. These types of phenomenon have been present throughout our history, especially accepted and known about with earlier cultures. So I'm just saying that what I'm reading, sharing with you here, we know on Earth that there is the elite, the cabal, that has their agenda, specifically about the resources. They want the resources for themselves. They want the slave populations to do the work. They want the slave populations to do their bidding. They want the control, one world order, one world religion. So that's really happening. Now just shift over a bit, and now look at what I've just got done reading here, that there are other factions at work here who are manipulating them as well. Those ETs, for instance, that also want the resources here. They want the slave populations. That's why they're saying, we'll give you whatever you want, come with us. We've got the answers. We'll save you. We'll save everything, and we'll put you to work besides. We'll have a job for you. Isn't that nice? So anyway, I'm just saying, I guess the main thing is not to be in fear. We've always said that. Fear is food, a low frequency, and is food for those entities. the power that we have within us is there. You have to reach for it. Own it. Stand strong with it. It's there. It's present. And again, there are great things and beautiful things about us humans. And yeah, we've kind of maybe lagging behind here on some things. This information is very important. Again, take what sings to your heart spirit. Listen, there's no harm in strengthening your compassion and your love and your spiritual connectedness. I think even if the ships don't come, I always say don't get on those ships. Even if they don't come, we need that foundation. We need that strength. We need to be loving and compassionate to each other. We cannot continue in the vein that we have been moving. We cannot continue with the violence and the hatred and the prejudices against each other. We just cannot. Where is it leading us to? Okay? So, I guess I'm going to close with this information here from a very interesting book. The manuscripts. It's about the Magdalene, the Grail, and the Seer. It's a big, thick book. I've read it years ago. I just pulled out something. And even they are talking about this. The degree of chaos in the world is in proportion to the number of chaotic thoughts in the minds of humans. All universes result from the energy of thought. Understanding this is a prerequisite for the understanding of the 4 or 5-dimensional reality. Remember, 5th dimensional reality, the 5th world, 1,000 years of peace. The change happens now. All must prepare for it. New energies are on their way, and these energies depend upon all of us. Okay? Currently, with the entrance to the ethereal reality expanding, man will change at all levels. This is where we're going. The memory of our true original nature must be established. And so, with that, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to Turtle Talk today and hanging out here with me. I really enjoy sharing this information with you and building our wisdom and knowledge together, because that's what it's all about. And I want to thank Tracy again for helping me to get on and producing me. And I wish all of you many blessings and a peaceful night or beautiful day wherever you are, and send out blessings to your families. And I give gratitude for Creator Mother Father and this beautiful Mother Maka'ina, where we live, our home. And just keep in your prayers and thoughts and mind the refugees, because winter's coming for them as it is for us, but I have a home and warmth and blankets. I just want to say a prayer for all those who are struggling. I send out a prayer for help and health for all of them, and many blessings to all of you. Pilamaya and Doksha Aki Wanchinkian Tinkulo, which means in Lakota, I will see you again next week. Tune in on Turtle Talk. I'll be continuing with the more information. I didn't get to talk about the UFOs in the Hudson Valley, but I will, and much more, a few more pieces about the final words here of the Allies, and much more I'm going to come up with. There is so much great information. Pilamaya, thank you.
Wonderful, Barb. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hane yata sota ashe chene nai hey yata sota ashe chene hey yong hane yata sota ashe chene nai hey